Hello, good day. My name is Dr. Obiageli Modebelu. I welcome you to this virtual classroom for your course, EDF 321, Vocational Development in Guidance and Counseling. Today, we will be looking at the study session 1, which is Concepts in Vocational Development in Guidance and Counseling. After you have participated in this lesson today, you should be able to define the following concepts very well: vocation, job, work, occupation, profession, career, and career path, and other concepts that we will come across. You should be able to explain career development. You should be able to define career guidance and career counseling. And you should be able to outline at least 3 objectives of vocational guidance and counseling. So, what is a vocation? A vocation is a calling in life. It can be regarded as a call to do something in a different way. You have vocation that you can earn your living from, which includes your job, your occupation, your work. That's paid vocation. And vocation that you're not paid for. Take, for instance, marriage. Marriage is a vocation. But nobody pays you for being married or being married to your wife or to your husband. But you share mutual love and understanding and help in the work of procreation for God. So vocation is actually a broad term that includes all the things we do for a living, to earn our living, and also other things that are not paid for that we do. Then we have job. Job is a piece of work an individual does to earn his living. And there are 3 types of job. We have trade, we have profession, we have unskilled job. Trade are jobs that you do not require academic qualification for. Take, for instance, a bricklayer, a driver, a carpenter. You don't need to go to the university to acquire certificates to do that. You just need to go through apprenticeship. Just get trained under a master. And then the person, drills you and trains you on how to, carry out the work that is involved in that trade. And then you begin to do, you become a bricklayer, you do freedom and you become a bricklayer, or you do freedom and you become a photographer, you do freedom, you become a carpenter or a vulcanizer or a mechanic. Those are trades. Then we talk about profession. Profession is different from trade because one gets theoretical and practical training for profession. Profession is not made for every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Before you enter into a profession, you must get trained theoretically and practically for it. Take, for instance, you want to be a teacher. You can't just wake up and say you're a teacher. No, you must go through either a faculty of education or a college of education to get training both in theory and practice. And it's until you finish your 4 years or as the case may be, and then you're given your certificate and you graduate, you can actually call yourself a teacher. And then we have unskilled job. This one doesn't need any form of training, whether apprenticeship or professional qualification. For example, when you have a house help at home, house help don't need to go to any apprenticeship or training, or a gardener. They just watch people do it and they begin to do it, and that's it. So these are the three types of job: trade, profession, and unskilled job. Then let's define work. Work can be defined as an activity that an individual engages in, which requires both mental and physical energy and effort to accomplish. And it exerts your energy. Whatever you exert energy doing can actually be referred to as work. And remember, all these work, trade, profession, job are all under vocation. Okay? Then let's look at occupation. Occupation, as the name implies, is an activity which one engages in, which keeps him or her busy. Anything you do that keeps you busy, it may be paid for, it may not be paid for, but you're busy doing that. That is why it is called occupation. It keeps you busy and takes your time. You devote your time in doing that. Then that brings us to a career. A career is a sequence of occupation or job an individual has engaged in for a significant part of his or her life. And the person now rises and progresses through the rank and file of that occupation or job or profession until he rises and gets to the peak of it. So a career is a lifelong thing. It includes what you do before you enter into the career and what you do after you exit it. Take, for instance, going to school is pre-career. Retirement is post-career activities. So pre-career activities are also very, very important in career. If a child is going to school, he wants to be a medical doctor. When he is in primary and secondary school, he will be paying attention to science-inclined subjects because he wants to study medicine. A child that wants to study medicine, that is doing literature, CRK, and history, will not end up being a medical doctor because his pre-career activities are not pointing to what he wants to be in life. There are so many definitions of career, but the one we'll stick to that we'll remember easily is that it is any job or occupation that we do in life and progress through different positions and the rank and file of it until the person gets to the peak of it. And that brings us to career path. Career path is that different positions that a person has taken or stayed in or has occupied before he gets to the peak. Let's take example. For example, you want to be a lecturer. You will start as a graduate assistant. That's the lowest point. From there, you become an assistant lecturer. You become lecturer 2, lecturer 1, senior lecturer, associate professor, and now a professor. Finally, a professor. That's the peak. That's the apex of a lecturing job. Then you can also, for example, look at teachers. You want to be a teacher in a primary school. Let's use the primary school as a case. You start from assistant class teacher, assistant head teacher, then head teacher. So these are career paths. Career path can be in the same line of job or can also be in similar jobs. For example, somebody that wants to be in the medical profession may start first as a nurse assistant and then later becomes a nurse. And then decide that I don't want to be a nurse again. He will go further and study more and become a medical doctor and may retire as a surgeon. So he or she is still within the same career, but not rising, because if he wants to just remain a nurse, he will start from nurse assistant, nurse, midwife, senior nurse, and registered nurse and things like that, and grows until he retires, maybe as a midwife or as a senior nurse or things like that. Okay, so career development. Career development is a lifelong process which involves all activities that an individual engages in and continues to make adjustments on from among many occupations available in the society in order to get occupied and also to earn a living. Career development is a continuous process in life. It's not a one-time thing. For example, you may start up as a nursery and primary school teacher. And then as you grow, you decide, oh, let me move up and teach in a secondary school. You get, you move in to a university, get a degree, and then get a job in the secondary school. Then at a point in your life, also say, instead of being in the secondary school, let me move towards teaching at a higher level. Then you have to get a master's degree. So you keep developing yourself, you keep acquiring higher degrees and a higher knowledge, and then keep moving and developing yourself until you get to the apex of your profession. Then, vocational guidance. Vocational guidance is an aspect of guidance and counseling through which useful and usable information is provided for a person or a group of individuals to assist them in making realistic choices of occupation and profession that suit them and that will enable them to contribute meaningfully to the society where they belong. Remember, in your year one, we talked about providing a client with useful and usable information that will inform wise decisions. So in career guidance also, we talk about providing useful and usable information to either one person or a group of people that will help them to make realistic choices. The word here is realistic choices. So that at the end of the day, they enter that occupation and they remain in it. If you look at the picture, you will see that this student has 3 careers, career A, career B, career C. And the first question he asks himself is, who am I? That question needs to be answered. How do I get there? Where I'm going to? Should I take career A, career B, or career C? Where am I headed? So as a counselor, it is your duty to provide that guidance that will help this student to explore these 3 options of career A, career B, career C, and be able to come up with the career that suits him for who he is. Remember that question, who am I? Vocational or career counseling, on the other hand, is a person-to-person or a one-to-one process through which a trained counselor provides a client with vocational information that will enable him to make right and informed decisions about jobs and careers that suit him. We are all different, and our career should be able to suit us to give us that job satisfaction. Because when somebody finds himself in a career or in a vocation or in a profession that doesn't suit him, when we talk about suiting you in vocational counseling, we are saying suiting your circumstances, suiting your abilities, suiting your personality, suiting your aptitude, suiting your interest, suiting who you are, the realities of your life and your family and environment, so that your society at large, so that whatever career you're picking will be relevant, not only to yourself, but to the society where you find yourself. And when you make such decisions, you find out that whatever career you're picking will suit you for who you are. There are different objectives of vocational and career guidance and counseling, as we can see, as presented by Obadofi, 1997, and they include assist a client in making realistic choices before entering into any job or profession. Because as I said before, if you venture into any wrong profession or career, the person will become dissatisfied. There will be no satisfaction. And when there is no satisfaction, frustration will, creep in, and there'll be redundancy because, it's like you're doing something that you don't derive joy and happiness in doing. And because of that, you don't even feel like doing it. So you just be marking time, and redundancy will set in. So assist the individual in discovering his interest, his ability, his aptitude, and his values. Just as John Holland would say, self-analysis. Self-analysis. An individual needs to analyze himself through the help of a vocational counselor to understand all these things that make him different from other people. Both of us may want to be teachers, but one person will want to be an English teacher, while another person has the ability to be a math teacher. Both of us are teachers. We will have different endowments, different abilities, and different interests. Then it also helps to expose the individual to different job requirements, demands, progression, career path, hazards, and other relevant information in these jobs. For example, a student comes to you and wants to be a medical doctor or a nurse. He knows he will be seeing cadaver, he will be seeing dead bodies, he will be seeing blood, he will be seeing people that are in trauma or in serious conditions. Will he be able to stand that? So you have to explain all these things to that particular client. Organize programs that will enable the student to discover their potential, talent, and their interests. For example, career day, career week, conferences, seminars, field trips. All these things will help your clients to really understand themselves and understand their abilities and discover their potential and their talent. Enable the individual to choose a life and not a living. Very, very important, because when you choose career that suits you, it's actually part of you. It's actually who you are. You see, you derive joy. Whenever you are engaged in your job or in your work or in your career, you're happy. You're doing it as this is a part of life, and not just because of the money that you're earning to just, make ends meet or to take care of yourself. So, in this study session 1, we have tried to look at vocation as a calling to do something in life which can be paid for or may not be paid for, as we have said. Marriage cannot be paid for, but a job or work that somebody does can be paid for. Then job is a piece of work an individual does to earn a living. And we say that there are 3 types of jobs. We talked about trade, which you just need apprenticeship. Just learn under a master trader and then begin to do what he or she is doing. And then we talk about profession, which you need serious theoretical and practical training in before you start and get your certificate before you engage in it. And then we talked about unskilled job, like being a house help. You don't need any training to be a house help. And then we talk about occupation. It's an activity with which an individual engages himself or herself. Engage yourself, be busy, keep busy. It can also be paid or unpaid. Then we have work, which is an activity that a person exerts energy to accomplish. Can be paid for, may not be paid for. Then we have career. And we said that career is a sequence of occupation which an individual engages in for a significant part of his life. For example, me, if you tell me now, I'll tell you I'm a teacher. Because right from my first job, I've been a teacher. That I've taught across all the levels of education. So I can actually say I am a teacher. So I've taught at different levels and I'm, rising by God's grace to the peak of it. Then career development is a lifelong process. It's not something you do once and you stop. It includes all activities that an individual embarks on and continues to make adjustments. As you move, you keep making adjustments, you keep, getting higher degrees, you keep getting higher diplomas, you keep attending conferences and seminars to improve yourself, and then keep moving from one position to the other, keep developing yourself until you get, to your retirement stage. Then, vocational guidance is an aspect of guidance and counseling through which information is provided to clients. And then the objective of vocational guidance and counseling include to assist the individual to discover his interests, his abilities, his aptitude, his values as relevant to his career choice, and to expose the individual to different job requirements. So having participated in this lesson today, I know by now you should be able to define vocation, define a job, and say the three types of job, define work, define occupation, profession, career, and give examples of career path. You should be able to explain career development, define career guidance and counseling, and outline three objectives of vocational guidance and counseling. Until our next class, it is bye for now.